and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Draft from this group will mean that it will pick up pace and it will drive on strongly from our race start. 600 metres in already, we're going over 40 kilometres an hour, and the riders at the moment really stretching that gap out. We are only 500 metres into what is a 50.3 kilometre race, and already the pressure is on. Panizza, Osborne and Kroll leading out from the pens. For riders who really want to be aggressive, we're seeing this with Mr. X100 now. Go on the front, put in a bit of an attack, put in that dig, try and get yourself clear, and it can pay off. And at the moment, we're seeing that time and time again. Now, Landon with Justin, Michael Knudsen, Michael Fink at the lead of Category 1 on the left-hand side of your screen. Lead of Category 2 at the moment, right-hand side of your screen. Mr. X100 has currently got a little bit of a gap here to Bruce Bird and Simon Volter, and this is real aggressive racing. This is usually a category where Michael Vink rides clear early and stays clear. At the moment, we're at 36.2k for Category 1. Michael Vink is still being shadowed. It's only 2 seconds back to Landon with Justin and 5 seconds to Michael Knudsen. Here comes the banner. This is the run for line, less than 300 now, 200 metres to go. The sprint's unwinding and Pegasus has got 12.5 watts per kilo. Kennett's coming in at 16. Will the track sprinter have his day? Dylan Kennett's got the climb jersey. He takes the win here today.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام، متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم. هذا أبو عامر ينطلق، وانتبه يا أبو عامر، الانطلاقة راح تكون سريعة كما جرت العادة. انطلاقة سريعة إذن في هذه اللحظات. ننطلق، أبو عامر موجود في وسط هذه الكوكبة، ولكن حذاري من بروس بيرد الكندي. هذا بروس بيرد دائما يطلع بمفاجآت ويصدم المشاركين دائما. الله، اتاك الآن، هذا اتاك من مستر اكس 100. هذه المفاجآت اللي أتحدث عنها دائما، هذه هي المفاجآت اللي أتحدث عنها وأقول أنه يضفي جمال المشاركة. جمال، نعم. الآن هنا يضغط يقوم على الدراجة. الصورة الحقيقية تتحدث، يهز راسه، يضحك الآن، يضحك ويبتسم، يقول إن ماذا يقول؟ أنه تعبت يا مستر إكس 100. ولكن نشوف تحركات في الخلف، محاولة مايكل فينك، عودة مايكل فينك مرة أخرى، وتطور كما ذكرت للبطل أيضا الدنماركي مايكل كينغسن. عاد قويا أيضا هو الآخر كينغسن طور مستواه، تحسن الأداء لهذا الدراجة. هنا الآن مايكل فينك.
هنا نشاهد وصول أيضا الفئة السادسة كابتن عبد الله إلى خط النهائي والسبرنت الأخير الآن بين داليان وبين كنت، بين داليان وبين أندرياس. نعم، متسابقين على خط النهائي وسبرنت قوي بينهم، والنهائي لداليان النيوزيلندي الفوز والقميص الأصفر.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of the race action here on our English language feed. We're going to have Abdullah and Robert on our Arabic feed, and I will be joined here with Emma Martin. She'll be joining me in the farmhouse studio. She's currently in the orchard studio with the surrounded by apple trees. And the women's race, a very interesting combination. The racing definitely very fruity here today on the women's race. So do watch the race action. I can't wait to get back to that once we finish our men's race here today. 4 qualifier races this month. This is qualifier race number 2. We will be moving across from here in Japan through some more worlds before we finish in California, I think it is, for our last race, for our finals. You can catch up with all of the details on the MyWhoosh.com website. Now, today's race route, really key things to make note of. Same climb twice. This is circuit. So basically, we're going around this circuit, around this loop. We initially kick, we've got 2 sprints, the Kyoto sprint, and we've got the Tokyo sprint. Those sprints were rewarded with prizes and the overall sprint prize. 2 climbs, the same climb twice. And there is a huge amount of climbing, 350 meters in total across the 2 climbs. So 175 meters each time up the Dragon's Nest climb. The fastest time up there held by somebody that you recognize, Michael Knudsen, 2 minutes 25. The Category 1 rider holding that course record up there. To give you an indication, that's 485 watts on his heart rate, 191 beats per minute up that climb to set that fastest time by a Category 1 rider. Those 2 climbs have points in the climbers category. They will then, of course, transfer into the overall win. 6 race categories taken to race start. Each category has its own coloured jersey. 1 in yellow, 2 in green, 3 in blue, 4 in red, 5 in light blue. And category 6 will be our first riders away. They are our riders in the purple jerseys. Now, big race fields across all of our race fields here today. Let's run you through our team riders first of all in category 6. BMC 6, represented by Simon Llewellyn. We've got level beginning, Jose Monsalve, as well as Marcos Brito. The Lost Amigos, they're our joint biggest team here today. 3 riders on their squad: Yuri Mikael Nielsen, Manuelito Lenador, and Roynel Villada. The Rule 6 team, they have Petter Otrubo, but the Spinergy team equal the Lost Amigos with 3 riders: Cameron Dadson, Marius Fossed, and Vitautas Jokabonis. The ZTBR squad, they're captained by Osmar Vaz, but 38 riders on the start sheets here today. Riders like Schoberg, Arrego, John Back riding strong, De Manuan, Ramos, always known for his fast starts. A real who's who of riders in amongst those 38 riders on the start list here today. The riders set out from those pens. The riders in purple will be the first to go. 5 minutes between category 6 and then the start of category 5. A further 5 minutes between category 5 and 4. 5 minutes between category 4 and 3. Then a 10-minute gap between categories 3 and category 2, and then back to our 5-minute gap between category 2 and our final race category, and that is category 1. So 6 race categories. The winner of the race, the first rider over the finishing line in each race category. Prizes dedicated to each race category. All the race categories with prizes for the overall race, with the climbs competition, the climb segments, the sprint competition, and the sprint segments. It's time to go racing on qualifier race number 2, and away we go. It's time to hit the roads here as we head out on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club Category 6. Away we're in with Petter Otruba at the moment, and you can see with the number of red chevrons appearing on the right hand side of your screen, those riders digging in deep nice and quickly. From the start, the first of our climbs comes in and kicks in just before 2 kilometers. It's only a little bit of a bump before we go to the Kyoto Sprint, but we're going to see, can Ati Järvinen hold this out? He's leading at the moment. One long line of riders behind. And at the moment, the pressure really on. Villada chasing, sensing back. Milano, Molina, and Medeiros very quickly up to speed. But nobody, I think, today wanting to leave this up for grabs. It's a long race route, 47 kilometers. With 512 meters of climbing facing our riders. And as you can see, it won't be long before we start coming in to the first of those rises. So, around this right-hand turn here in the Japan World, one of the 12 worlds that you can ride on as part of the MyWhoosh experience. If you want to jump on board Whoosh, do download the app on iOS, Android, and on Windows. You could be out and racing from category 6 to 1. All our riders on that same course at the moment. Michał Pistula of Poland leading from Vaz from Brazil. Then you can just see the riders behind chasing hard. Back from Denmark, Järvinen and Peso from Finland, Villada and Monsalve of Colombia. They're all in this pack, and the pace so high at the moment that we are seeing riders being distanced off the back of this group. So the pressure is on in category 6 already. So Fossier, the rider who we know are very much focusing on those sprints, a rider who also can climb if it's a short, sharp climb. The Dragon Nest climb is a 2K climb. Will he be able to focus on that? We're in with Osmar Vaz, this fantastic picture-in-picture on the left-hand side of your screen. Vaz from Brazil at the moment, keeping those pedals tapping around nicely at the moment. And you can see nicely tucked into the draft. For those of you who are new to MyWhoosh, we regularly on the Sunday Race Club have our riders on screen as well as their avatar on your screens as well. Then you can see Vaz at the moment out of the saddle in person on the left-hand side of your screen, kicking out 290 watts. The figure is in green as he goes through up into the 400-watt marker, kicking on here, trying to stay with this leading group as rider after rider is distance behind, doing a great job here of holding this pack and chasing down Pistola Sensi and Aaron as well. So it is flat out in category 6, 3 minutes of racing done for them already as they make their way over the top of the first of our bumps. 2K covered and over the top they go. Category 6, 2K into the racing. Category 5, our next race start down in the pens. Let's run you through our team riders. The BMC Get Racing are going to be captained here today by Kevin Motmans. High Five, captained by Brett Gibson. Level Up, well, who would you pick between Jeff Rooney, Ola Warren, and Rodolphe Bertrand? Very difficult to split the 3 riders there from the Level Up squad. The Rule 5 squad, captained by Jacques Rusinek. And we've got the Anzacs, captained by Santiago Marin Gonzalez. And really 4 key riders for the Upcycle squad. The biggest of our race fields today, Florian Dromard, Ian Lloyd, Mohamed Mukhtari, and Xavier Maillard. All going to be taken to the race start in amongst a race start list of 55 riders. So a big race start. Watch out for McMurtry, for White, for Cirillo, Dylan Kennett. Well, we're going to see if he can excel on this course with its short, sharp, punchy climbs. Will we see Casa Grande, Kutab, or Kalangas? They could be the riders who are up there. Lasno, always good on those kicks. Will we see Radamaka or Rusamaki up there? It could be a day for Botero as well. Rosharaj, Teron going to be Rosharaj, Teron, one of those riders who could definitely be kicking on through this. We'll see how he progresses in category 5 here from India. Tiger, Vahan, Kova, Siddle, all waiting to go. We're in with Jacques Rusinek down on the start. You can see him on the left of your screen. This is brilliant. To get to see the watch to start. Watch that kick down now as that power is applied. He winds it up out of the saddle here. He needs to take off with the bunch, wanting to stay in the draft, to stay in a key position up near the front. If you go off the front, you're expending a lot of energy into the wind as that virtual breeze blows against you. If you are off the back of the group, you've got the same thing, but you're chasing to get on, and you're chasing riders who have that draft advantage. So very, very, very important to keep the technique absolutely dialed on the way out. The pressure is on those race starts, making sure you get it absolutely spot on, really key. Now, in with Joshua Kalangad, one of our regular riders, just switching over to Michael Radomir, then Villadra as we work our way up through this race field. Montoya and Mukhtari up near the front here. And in fact, it's Mohamed Mukhtari who had a great race last time out. And a rider who I think we are going to continue to see plenty of. He's just got to make sure he doesn't get too carried away, carry out that plan too early, maybe to attack, go on the offensive. We can see Mohamed on the left of our screens there. And Mukhtari now nicely tucked into the group, so staying clear. But it's better to go off the front than it is to go off the back on those early stages. It's very difficult to get back in touch, as we can see him just changing gear there on those gear brake levers combined on the bike there. He continues to push Mukhtari nicely at the front of this group. Definitely a rider to watch with today's course. And with that Upcycle squad having strength in depth, they may well be able to benefit from some of those team tactics. Now, off across to a young man who we've tipped for big things here on the Sunday Race Club, because Rosharaj Teron one of our key riders already into this little bit of a climb here. Dops out going just over the 2K marker and nicely up with the leading group. More riders being distanced off the back. You can see that on the radar view. If you look on the main screen view, bottom left-hand side, you can see the discs, each disc representing a rider. And as we come up this slope, the 4% and climbing slope, as we come up here, 4.5% at the moment. This is testing the legs. You can see the riders going into the yellow, then into that red zone. All these riders pushing on. You can see Roshan out of the saddle there, kicks on, sits back down as the gradient eases to 3%, but he's got to keep the rhythm going. Out of the saddle again, dances on those pedals. This is key. Keep in touch. Stay with that lead group. Don't get caught the wrong side of a break. Nice skills there, keeping him in touch. So, category 6 away. Category 5 that we just seen Rosharaj in with. They are the light blue jerseys. They are currently at 1.8k in, going over the top of that climb. 5.2k for category 6 covered. Our next riders ready to go, though, are category 4, so 6 and 5 away. Category 4, our next starters down in the pen, waiting to go here. We're in with Boomer, one of our regular riders. He is going to be one of our 54 riders. And remember, of course, the squads in Category 4, well, they play that team game very hard indeed. You've got some really strong riders. 54 riders in here. Let's run you through some of those riders and some of the teams to watch out for. BMC Racing's Cadiz, Robinson and Pino, 3 riders in their squad. We've got 5 riders from Level Racing. Riders like West, Morgan, Allport, Van Haren and Bradley. On the Rivet Racing also have 5 riders. That's Bogran, Pulgarin, Sanchez, Arroyo and Gonzalez. 2 riders for the Salt Factory UAE team. That's Francis Pino and Mac Lenador. With 1 rider, that's Joseph Miller of the Dirt First Squad and Marsan Kriwanos of Inner Fight and Nicholas Hagland of Level Elite. But so many riders, not riding for teams, but very strong indeed. Jan Kaplinski, definitely want to watch. Henrik van der Sant was riding strongly last time out as well. Burma can never be discounted. Van den Eek out of the Belgians, a rider that we know could well be in the mix on the finish on a course like this. Jonas Vado, also another rider who this course could well suit. Spratt, you can never discount him from any of the racing here. Stefano Ricchetti, the same. Watch out for Nicholas Trujillo. The whole race field here, very, very strong. Time to see who is the strongest on the day, because it's time to go out and away from our start pens here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. On our men's race, we're in with Boo Amur. Category 4, the third of our 6 race categories away. And it's Burma who sprints his way out of that pen. Just near the rear of this group. He needs to keep squeezing. He doesn't want to get caught on the wrong side of a gap. Once that wind gets in, once that air gets in, you can't make the most of the draft. You can't hide behind the riders. And that makes life difficult. Getting up to the front third, really, really key for our riders as they make their way out and away here in Japan on the Dragon's Nest race route. 47 kilometers, 512 meters of climbing. We've got 3 sprints on the way through. We go through the Kyoto sprint first, then the Tokyo sprint is covered twice, and that Tokyo sprint coming after the Dragon's Nest climb, which is also climbed twice. So our riders furthest down the road, well, it's Antti Järvinen of Finland, who's got that 2-second gap. You can see him ahead of Marius Fosse, the rider that we were in with there in the green skin suit. The green skin suit awarded for the sprint winners of each of the race categories. As we go into our sprint in category 5. So this, the 200-meter sprint, and it looks like Edison Gomez, the rider with the fastest time through the segment so far. And we say so far for a reason, because that can change. Remember, this is live. Not going to give you too many spoilers for the women's race, but Bridget Valensky, one of those riders who we regularly see sprinting off the back of the main group, but sprinting and picking up those sprint wins on the way through. Looks like she may well be trying to employ those tactics again in the women's race that's live at the moment on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Make sure that you get notified whenever we go live is by subscribing to MyWhoosh on YouTube. And all of that content on there, from the Inside the Ride podcast right the way through to chats with our star riders, right the way through to what's latest, what's coming up on MyWhoosh, and of course all of our race coverage from the World Championships to the Sunday Race Club, brought to you on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Now, Category 4, left-hand side of your screen. Category 5, right-hand side of the screen. They're going to move out of the way because we're going to take a look in with Ryan Giuliano at the moment. Ryan at the moment nicely tucked in with this Chase Group 1 rider, just opening up the throttle as we come up this slope. This is that first climb for Category 4. And as they go up here, it looks to me like Giuliano nicely positioned in this group. They're closing down on our lone leader at the moment. So really looking like Luke Allport doing an Allport, going off the front early doors, stretching everybody's legs out. Allport is indeed a verb. And in fact, there he is, the man for whom the phrase was named. We've had Vinkinator doing a Vink. We've got Allport doing an Allport and going off the front. Luke, one of our regular riders. Great to see Luke back in action. Once again, you can see the national flag proudly displayed by the side. And of course, Luke racing for Australia in the World Championships as well. And if you haven't caught the news, I'm sure Luke is going to be excited pretty much as I am, that the date has been announced for the UCI World Championships for 2025. So 2025 World Championships have been announced for cycling esports by the UCI, the governing body for cycle sport across the globe. So that means that they don't only just organise and keep a check on the racing and cover the disciplines, they're in charge of governance. They are making sure that everybody's doing what they should, that the rules are there, that safety is observed, all the things you'd expect a sports governing body to do. Well, they are in charge of the calendar as well, and we have a later date for the World Championships. The new date is the 15th of November, middle of November, so moving back from its late October date that we had in 2024. Of course, back in Abu Dhabi, and we're going to be seeing plenty of our riders on the Sunday Race Club racing in person in the 24 esports specific arena down, and that's very close to Yas Marina if you've been out and riding on MyWhoosh, or you've been there in person, of course. Now let's take a look across. We have the fourth of our race categories. This is Category 3, ready to start. The Anzac squad, Cardona, Bloom and Brook, Aotearoa Alliance, Ace and Wojciech, the Level Golden team, Remborg and Bakken, Ride Club Finland, Peak and Tuka sprint off from the start with Sandstorm, Frederick, Guerra and Fell. And the What's Up squad, well, they have the most riders here. Kowalski, Short, Orego and Clays. Strong squad. As Category 3 make the way away from a race start, out of the pens, heading towards the course proper to head out on this first loop that takes them around to the Kyoto Sprint. Just in with Ollie Sola at the moment as we work our way through past Stan Welligan. Stan Welligan, one of our real class riders. Now, in Category 3, 64 riders on the race field. On our start sheets in Category 3, the biggest race field of the day in the men's race here today. And it's a real who's who. Literally, I could put these start sheets on a dartboard, throw a dart at them, and so long as it actually hit the sheet, it would hit a potential race winner, a potential prize winner. Henry East being one of those. You can just see Henry there, the man from MyWhoosh World on Instagram, often giving us race insights on Instagram. Henry East from South Africa, currently domiciled in New Zealand, and Henry been racing really strongly of late. We're interested to see how he goes on this course. This is it's not a pure mountain climbers course. It's not a sprinters course. It's a real rulers course, and East could well be the man today who could take this out. He has teammates in the racing. Jakub Wojciech of the Otero Alliance in with him. As we drop in with Nathan Guerra. Nathan having some great races lately. Getting some regular racing here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. Nathan just on the back of this group now. Nathan has been around cycling esports since pretty much his inception. In fact, I remember first watching Nathan on some streaming, on some pure gaming streaming once upon a time, a long time ago. He should know the race tactics. He should know how to race this. We'll see if he's got the Japan World Diet. Will he be the dragon on the nest, or will he be one of those baby dragon eggs that are going to get cracked by everybody else stamping all over him? Time to find out as he heads out on course. We're back in with category 4 though. At the moment, 5.2k covered. We're about to drop down the first of our real big descents. This is the descent that leads us into the Dragon's Nest climb. Dragon Nest climb, the first of our categorized climbs here today, as we make our way between the bamboo either side of the course here. Now the big trees either side, the big bamboos either side. A lot of people seeing small bamboo. You can get giant bamboo, and this is well and truly giant sized either side of the riders, as Ryan Giuliano, the rider that we are in with, drops down in as part of this pack, weaving in between the fencing here. Rucker, Miller, Amur, Robinson. They're your leading riders, but our two riders clear at the front, Mason Rocker and JJ Miller, the two riders from the United States of America. Well, they've got a 10-second lead. This is optimistic. They've gone on the downhill at 6.2k. They've got a way to go till they reach the very bottom of this descent. We've got another section where you basically, this is a flat section, a little bit of a roller, but there's another big dip before we go right the way down in towards the base, and we go up the Dragon Nest climb for the first time. 11.7k we've got to get to reach that point. At the moment though, Rocker and Miller with the gap. JJ Miller, Mason Rocker take the right hand turn behind them. The pack is not closing this gap down. They are not making time back. That gap is now at 13 seconds. And the way this group is spread across the road, they are in danger of handing the lead across to Mason and to Rocker very, very easily here. That gap is going to be going out. You can see that the watts per kilo at the moment are not high. They're spread across the road. This is dangerous. Give away too much time as you come into the descent, and that means you're going to have too much work to do once we go up those climbs. What can Miller and Mason do? Can they make the most of this race lead in category 4 here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club? So Buamur at the moment making his Kyoto sprint, the first of our segments, the Dragon Nest, where category 4 are heading into the second of those segments. Remember, category 6 settle first, then 5, then 4, and then the category we're watching now. This is category 3. We're in with Niall Batty at the moment, and nicely tucked in with this group. One of our newer riders, Batty, alongside Johan Moreno. Moreno, one of the old stagers. Now, Johan Moreno been racing this, I think, pretty much as long as I've been calling the action. That's coming up for 3, heading into year 4 very shortly indeed. And Johan Moreno, a rider who initially was racing for the Italian Espresso squad, now currently running as an individual here today. Definitely a rider to watch. Watch out for a Bitco on this course. Pistolin Hassan and Ramethri could really excel on here. Definitely a course where Damien Kiesnowski could be up in the mix. Don't discount people like Joshua Haggerty. Lewis Ridley's got a fantastic kick. One rider not to take into the finish. As these riders make the way in towards the first of our sprints, 200 meters. Fastest through this segment will be taking away the segment prize. So the key here, make sure that you run from the back to the front. Ivo Schur, definitely a rider to watch now. Is Schur going to take away the sprint prize? I don't think so, but he is being very careful here. He knows the pack will accelerate up through as people go for the sprint. The gaps can open, and we are seeing that. The 3 riders on the front, though, just easing off. There is a split midway through this group, though. They're going to have to pull this back together again. Sure, though, nicely positioned. You can see him in person on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see his avatar on our big screen now. And the heart rate, 168.99 pedal reps per minute. That is cadence 99, just sitting just under that 100 as Clay's the rider up at the front, went for that sprint. He hasn't taken away the sprint jersey, though. He hasn't changed from the blue jersey of Category 3 to the sprint skin suit. That is the green skin suit of our sprint leader. He does have the green shorts on, however. Walter Clay's one of our regular riders. Got a great kick on him, Walter Clay's, and definitely a rider to shake up the action. I expect to see him sprinting for our next 2 sprints as well. He's on the left of our screens. On the right-hand side, Mason Rocker for Category 4, our leader at the moment. He's got JJ Miller glued to his back wheel. And just taking a check on the time between our 2 leaders, Miller and Rocker, and the chasing riders behind. 15 seconds is the gap, and that's going to accelerate up because this is the run down that takes us to our low point on the course. And at the moment, you can see Rocker and Miller both taking advantage of this. They're not pedaling at the moment. 0 watts per kilo for Miller. Rocker just turning the pedals round at the moment, letting gravity do its work. It's not going to maximize their lead at the moment, but it gives them a little bit of breathing room. It gives them that little micro rest. We drop down, descending, losing height at the moment. You can see that gradient on the top right-hand side of your screen, still at 6% as they drop down. We level off with that course profile, the white line moving from right to left. So Category 4, the cat's well and truly in amongst the pigeons here with Rocket and Miller, nearly 20 seconds clear. The rest of the group's plenty of action as well in Category 6, 5, and 3. But some very interesting moves being thrown down in Category 4 in the red. So let's move to our next race starters. Category 4, the penultimate group of riders away. 50 riders on our start sheets here today and a whole host of teams. The Abu Dhabi team, led by the legendary Ivan Nuki, a coach from the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club. We've got Abus Esports and Matthias Van Heath, the attacking team in himself. Great sprinter and great when the going gets tough. Racing for the CD Racing team, Daniel Pinto, Thiago Clermont, both strong riders, both racing for Portugal. They could be right up in the mix. They're going to have to mix it up with the multicolored Smarties team, Anders Bengston, Josiah Betty, and Simon Volta. All again riders who we know will excel when the course gets tough. The Hitmen, well, they are being led up by Vidal Mayer and Tatu Koistonen. 2 very strong riders again. And Mayer, great on those climbs. Koistonen coming back into form. You've got to watch out for the UAE Falcons. Ahmed Al-Tanaji and Zaid Hamdan, they could be right in the mix. But today, well, it's an aggressive race route. It's going to suit the UAE clan team. Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic, and SS, all down on our start list here today. In Category 2, in amongst this big field. We'll run through some of the rest of the riders in a moment, but do not discount any of those team riders today. And they've got the advantage of team tactics. They can play that off against each other. You see that happening. It's time to go racing in Category 2, our penultimate race category on qualifier race number 2, heading out from the start pens underneath the cherry blossom here, taking that left-hand turn, and away they go in with Sebastian Havo at the moment, and Havo very quickly up to speed here, just checking the pockets on the back of that, just making sure he's all comfortable there. He's got plenty of racing to be done. The fan roll in the window open to get some fresh air in as well. And currently French time about 6 o'clock in the evening in the CET zone, so that includes France as well. And Havo at the moment riding, still got the energy to wave as well. So bonjour to Sebastian Havo. A bientôt. We may well drop back in very shortly with him as we drop back in with Roshan Raj Teron at the moment. Category 5 now blown all over the road at the moment. Look at the dots on the course at the moment. They are on the Dragon's Nest climb. They are chasing the Category 6 leaders. I tell you something, this has exploded on the Dragon's Nest climb as we make our way through the waterfalls here. Russia Rush Teron has got Pegasus in front. 2 seconds up to Laszlo. Dylan Kennett just in front of him here. This is all over. Well, Kennett will not want us to focus on his climbing abilities in case Michael Vink has a go at him. I've seen him lead Michael Vink over a climb, so he's got work to do here to get to that level, but he's in good company as Teron comes up on his hill. Kennett Laszlo, Pegasus, Teron together. Looks like Montoya dropped a little bit further back. Category 5 all over the road. Category 6, they're leading. They've got 2.5K, and the leaders at the moment over the top of this climb, down the other side and onto the flatlands beyond, 15.7K in. They've got a good-sized gap on those chasers behind. That Dragon's Nest climb finishing at 13.7 kilometers, so about 500 meters for Teron at the moment to dig deep and to hold those places. The prizes in all of our race categories in that race for the race finish, 10 prizes in the category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 races. So whether you are 1 to 10 in categories 1 to 6, there are prizes awaiting if you get over the finishing line in position. Ivan Yuki, no stranger, taking away the top prize on the Sunday Race Club. I wonder what he thinks of this race route. Look at the focus for the man from Uganda there on your screens at the moment. Ivan Yuki has the most varied camera angles. Absolutely love it because we get to see lots of different angles of just how hard Ivan is trying. I've had the pleasure of riding with him. I've got to say, he's an absolute beast out on the bike. Fortunately, it was flat when I was riding with him, which did help quite a lot, I have to say. But he is a real inspiration to those riders in the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club. Don't forget to give the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club a follow on social media and give Jeff Rooney a follow at the same time. Another man who is always keeping us entertained. He's got the fern, that silver fern across the jersey there for New Zealand in the black and silver New Zealand. It is Jeff Rooney, the first man to Everest, a record breaker on the descents as well, a real inspiration. We've got some real inspirational characters on our cameras here today on the Sunday Race Club. We're in category 5, so these are the second group away from our race start. The first category, category 6 away, is starting to be passed. The leaders still out in front, though. They are leading. Jeff Rooney here, nicely tucked in. Jeff's going to be sitting just round about inside the top 10, I think, inside category 5 at the moment. He's definitely a strong rider. And you can see that in his climbing here. Just gone past Mohamed Mokhtari and shaking Jacques rusty neck at the moment up towards the top of the climb. The leading riders in category 5 are through that climb banner, and Rooney's just gone through. They're a long way ahead of category 1. Our last group of riders to start, they are the top of the tree, our elite riders. Big squads in here, big names, real stars of cycling esports. Alfred Jaws, Daniel Chirek, David Talbot, Lionel Vajassin, Mikhail Kaminsky, and Ollie Jones. They have superior numbers to the Boss Moves only squad, but can they beat world champion Jason Osborne, Michael Nussen, Michael Vick, and Saeed Safrazadi? Will they be able to Boss Moves it all the way? Well, we're going to see. They're up against the Farmwatch squads. They have 3 riders, Hayden Pucker, Johan Noren, Mikael Plantero. 2 riders, Jakobs and Pedersen for the Wenger boys. Union Speed with Bruce Bird, HCNSVE with Marshall Wu, and CD Cycling District with Mikkel Machado. 31 riders on the Category 1 start sheets as the riders leave the pen. The final wave away. We're in with our world champion, Jason Osborne. The white jersey with those rainbow bands, those bands that are worn by our world champions across all of the UCI disciplines. Well, they're here. They're racing on the Sunday Race Club, and one man who would dearly love to have his hands on them when we go to Abu Dhabi in November is Mikhail Kaminsky. What can he do today? Now, Category 1 have had a busy race schedule. They've got all of our Sunday race clubs. There's lots of racing going on across lots of different disciplines. Some of our riders have been racing yesterday as well, but I don't think Category 1 are going to be given time to settle. There's already the race action unfolding in Category 1. Category 2 have hit the sprint. So Category 2 further up the road, going through our first sprint segment, through the Kyoto sprint, And as they kick on through, we're in with Mr. X100 at the moment, marking the moves, just making sure he doesn't lose any time here. He's not worried about that sprint second, and his eyes are going to be on that finishing line as we make our way in and through. Ruben Dont, though, I think has been sprinting strongly. I suspect it's Dont who has that green skin suit on the Kyoto sprint section. He has, you can see that the jersey is marked by his side. He's wearing it, so he's exchanged the green jersey for the green skin suit. He still retains the number 2 on his back, and that is because he is category 2. Now, great to see Marshall Wu in here. Wu tapping out a really good rhythm here as he makes his way around this left-hand turn. Nicely tucked in the bunch, but you can see already the front of this race is being ripped up. We're on this first little climb, on this riser. Wu out of the saddle in person, out of the saddle in terms of his avatar as well. The world champion, front right-hand side of this group, chasing down the 2 leaders at the moment. We're only a kilometre and a half into our 47-kilometre race. Already the pressure is on. There's no taking it easy in Category 1 here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Now, those riders that we didn't mention in the team, Marshall Wu has it's riding for the HCNS VE squad from China. He's up against a big set of names here. Yusuf Mirza Al-Hadi, Tim Cutler, Thomas Stroll, Stefan van Elst, Ricardo Panizza, Rakad Al-Thib, Paul Skierski, Marcin Trajanski. We've got Mohamed Moda, we've got Linda Milostic, Christoph Kroll, Joe Lewis, Jasper Paradis, and Havard Gednes. Also in alongside those team riders we mentioned earlier. It's all-star cast, 31 riders, Category 1, up and racing. They are through and over the first of our bumps as Category 2 start to make their way down the descent, the far side of the Kyoto sprint, that big long drop down that will see them approach the Dragon's Nest climb. So just in with Tim Cutler at the moment, looking pretty smooth as he makes his way in through this group. And Cutler at the moment, who took a 26th back in 2024, back with us once again. Welcome back, Tim. Good to see you once again. We're going to, his last ride was in October in 2024. His best position was hovering inside the top 20. He got a 5th place in qualifying number 2 on the Yebelhof feet, so clearly on form when it comes to those climbs. He had a good ride in race number 4 in July, so a little bit of time off over the winter, but back on and riding again. One rider who rides week in, week out. Said Safrazedi, good to see Said here. One of our riders who is always pretty much guaranteed to be here. Regular on the live coaching sessions as well. So Said Safrazedi using those live coaching sessions. So my co-host, who will be joining me very shortly, that is Emma Martin. Emma, a regular on the coaching sessions, along with a whole host of other coaches as well. And has to be said, one of our regulars, improving his form, his racing performances. He's absolutely world class. And if Said Safrazedi can take benefits from those live coaching sessions, you can too. Safrazedi, 10 wins on the Sunday race, the 22nd places. He's had 28 4th to 5th place, 18 3rd place. I tell you something, this is a rider with 38 podiums on the Sunday Race Club. Cannot be discounted. Well, neither can Michael Vink, the man who gave his name to doing a Vinkinator. You can catch up with Michael Vink, the UAE team rider for many years. You can see on that Colnago, and ex-teammate of a man who had an incident-packed day yesterday, and that was a certain Tadej Pogacar. If you didn't see the results, we'll talk about them in a little while once we get through this sprint. We're going to get these riders through the sprint. Interested to see what Michael Vink does in this sprint section. You can catch up with Michael Vink on the Inside the Ride podcast. He's been talking to Matt Smithson and Cy Bradley on that show. That's a couple of weeks ago now. So as this group go through, think they're just marking the moves, following the wheels, not going for the sprint. Jesper Paradians, though, holding that sprint lead at the moment as they go through the sprint section. They've literally just come rocketing past the pens out on the right-hand side of the riders. As they go through the pens there, having completed that first loop, Jesper Paradians with the win in Category 1 in that sprint competition. Michel Machado not that far behind again. This is Osborne all quickly closing down the wheels, but this is going to come straight back together again. Let's highlight you those times on your screens now. So congratulations to Marius Fosed of Category 6, Edison Gomez of Category 5, Joachim Skretting of Category 4, Masik Skirski of Category 3, Ruben Dunt of Category 2, and Jesper Paradines of Category 1. They are the winners of our Kyoto Sprint Prime prizes. So they will be taking away the prize for the fastest time through those sprint sections. Interestingly, Gomez there with a 12:02, faster than categories 3 and 4, a category 5 rider, and the closest to categories 1 and 2, Dont and Paradians are the two fastest times. Paradians time and 11.567 seconds for the 200-meter sprint. So they will convert to points for the overall as well. So remember, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 prizes for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth place. Those points added up. Maximum possible points is 15. 3 lots of 5 wins. Will our sprint winners be able to repeat that when they go into the Tokyo Sprint? You've got Tokyo Sprints at number 1 and number 2. And it's going to be very interesting to see. Certainly, Marius Fosade, who has taken the Kyoto Sprint for Category 6, he's already taken his second sprint win as well. Not yet reached sprint number 3, so it can be done. You can certainly set that marker down. It depends on what your race focus is. Michael Vink in here, rider who's been up and away. Now, I did say, talk very briefly, so close your ears now if you don't want to hear the results of the Strada Bianchi yesterday on Saturday, or if you've not watched it yet or you're planning on watching it. It was absolute carnage with incredible numbers of riders crashing. It's something Jarno Jacobs from the Netherlands has not got to worry about. He's just got to answer the attacks, which are going thick and fast here in Category 1. Tim Cutler on the move here. Welcome back, Tim. He's back into the action and he's up and away. He's trying to attack with a long way to go, trying to do a Pogacar, Tadej Pogacar with a slide out, and we want to send our best wishes from the commentary team to Tadej Pogacar. Not only taking away the win, but he does need to get some skin back on that body. He took a big slide out on the corner. He wasn't the only rider to go down there, so anybody who has been injured in that race, get well soon. The team from the UAE squad, seeing the UAE team, taking first and third place. Great ride by Tim Wellens as well. If you haven't seen it and seen the UAE team in action, do watch it. It is an absolute barnstorming race. And how Tadej Pogacar goes on to do what he did, I do not know. But big slide down. We had the pleasure of seeing him down in the MyWhoosh production studios when we held the World Championships in Abu Dhabi. And I have to say, an absolute gent. One of the real nice guys of the sport, and wish him well. Recover soon, buddy. Okay, no spoilers for anything else that happened in the racing. So if you're just coming back, we'll go back to the racing on your screens, the esports racing on your screens with Ricardo Panizza, nicely tucked into this group. An active rider regularly, not got that sprint jersey at the moment from that Kyoto Sprint with that jersey, the green skin suit there being worn by Jesper Paradis, but Panizza nicely tucked in. He'll be waiting to see what happens when we go into the sprint. Still seeing that move on the front being answered. Jason Osborne, the world champion, sitting third wheel at the moment, closing down the moves as the Category 1 riders head towards the descent. Category 2, right, it's crunch time. They go underneath the polka dot banner. They're on to the Dragon's Nest climb for the very first time here today. Twice up this climb they're going to be going. This is going to be very telling. Who is going to be able to rip this race apart? Who can hold the pace? Zach Nair The head coach, John MyWhoosh, just nicely tucked in here. He's going to be looking to see how he can deal with this. He should have the right training for it. He'll have known it's coming, but can he deal with the climb? Now, out of the saddle, you can see they're tapping out that rhythm. The United States of America national champs jersey mounted proudly on the wall there. Nair from the States out of the saddle, tucked in the group. You can see just keeping that rhythm smooth at 69, now 70 revs per minute. That cadence tapping along at the moment. This should be the sort of effort takes around about the 2 minutes 39, 2 minutes 40 for these riders in category 2. As Matthias Van, he holds inside the top 10 here. So does the spinner, Gomber, Havo, Rato's in here. Van He with that characteristic flying jersey as the wind keeping him cool. He's out of the saddle. Similar cadence, you'll notice 70, 72 revs per minute at the moment. Continuing to tap out the rhythm. This is a steep climb. Steepest sections here go to about 17, 18%. It is a real beast of a climb. It might only be 2 minutes 40 for the leaders in category 2, but you have to be absolutely top class to do that. So, all our categories away. Category 1 at the moment at nearly 10 kilometres into the racing. They're about to descend down towards the Dragon Nest climb for the first time. Van He and Category 2 at 12.4k. They are on the first ascent of the Dragon's Nest climb. Categories 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 all over that climb for the first time. The Tokyo Sprint en route as they keep on going through. And in fact, categories 4 and 5 and 6 have gone through that section. And you can see our leaders on the road. Category 6 at the moment, 24.2k in. Osmar Vaz leading, wearing that polka dot skin suit as the leader of the climbs competition in category 6. That early aggressive move that we saw in category 6 looks like it's broken that race apart a little bit here. There's still a reasonable sized group. Category 4 was very similar. 2 riders going clear in category 4, and we saw them going clear the 2 riders from the United States. Rocker, one of them, really ripping that racing up. But at the moment, our category 2 riders, they're in the hardest place. They're on that Dragon's Nest climb. Category 6 leading, category 1 the last riders on the road. Interestingly, Marius Fossaid is in group number 2 here on the road in category 6. He is our sprint leader, having gone through Tokyo Sprint number 1 and the Kyoto Sprint taking the win. Tokyo Sprint number 2, well, that doesn't kick in until they've gone up the climb once again. That's a long way down the road. The second time through that sprint of 42 kilometres, but he needs to move through here. He's just inside the top 10. Our top 10 riders at the moment covered by just about a minute at the moment. Outside that minute, then you're going to be heading into 11th places and down. So our riders out on course. Matthias Van He at the moment, nicely tucked in with category 2. We're back on this steep section of the Dragon's Nest climb, coming up towards the top of the climb here. Not too far to go. Remember, this climb, it tops out at 13.7 kilometres in with Karnke, one of our regular strong climbers. And now just going to switch across. Looks like Mr. X100 is in the mix here. Van He, Havo, Ken in here, Nez in the mix, Mr. X100 in here as well, Simon Walter, Rios, Dont in here, Dont wearing that skin suit, great sprinting by him as he came through. The group, though, fracturing once again. If you look to the left-hand side of your screen, you can see on the radar view that we have the archway coming up. That polka dot archway is in front of these riders, but they've got to go through those twists and turns, the chicanes up the valley, through the gorge to get there. And there is a group that is in danger of being split off the back of this leading group, containing about 10 to 15 riders. Could be distanced here just in this one moment. The gap is opening, and this is the danger moment. The push is on. We're getting towards the top of the climb. The riders know 200 meters to go. Walter digs deep. He's got to hold those wheels. The chevrons come across the screen as these riders really push. And this is a big kick off the front. Clearly, those climb points are going to be important. Walter's burying himself to try and stay with them. Dont is moving his way up through, but he can't hold the pace of Khan Kayan, who leads them up. Khan Kayan's going to go underneath the banner first. It'll be about what positions they were in coming into this climb as SS goes through. Now, Khan Kayan has claimed the skin suit. Will he be able to hold on to it? I think he will. He goes over the top first. SS of the UAE clan team goes through right beside him. Very close racing as they come up to the top of the climb at the moment. So they're going up and over the top. Khan Kayan goes over. What a sprint. What a climb. Now, can they regroup? Time to watch and keep an eye on our riders. Perfect time for me to take a very quick break whilst Emma comes and joins us here in the studio back from the women's race. So just dropping across from Category 2 to Category 1 as we join Marshall Wu, our Chinese rider, battling to stay with this lead group in Category 1 on the Dragon's Nest climb. Emma, welcome to the men's race. I know you've had an absolutely flying women's race to talk about. We've been seeing a lot of Marshall Wu on our screens, and he's really, I mean, absolutely nailing this.
First Sunday race club.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What a ride.
I did see him on the start sheets when I was in the office earlier on in the week when I was looking through the materials and doing a bit of work. And I thought, oh, Marshall Wu joining the Sunday race club. I wonder how he's going to do. And now we can see him on the screen, pushing on at the moment. He's on the wheel of Ollie Jones, and they've got to close this gap down. They need to. The respite is on the climb at the moment because it's just 3%. They've got an opportunity to dig and close it down. Hayden Puckett is on Wu's wheel at the moment, so is Johan Noren, Panizza, Knudsen, Jones all up the road. There we go, we're closing it down to Panizza, who's got to go up and go past. It's a 2-second gap now to the main group ahead. You've just got to keep pushing.
You've got to bury yourself. Don't worry about where that top of the climb comes. Go, 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 go is the moment now. This is where it counts. Keep digging in deep. There's plenty of riders. Johan Noren is off the back of this group. So is Christoph Kroll. We are seeing riders distance by 10, 15 seconds. If you can hold this group now, try and stay in. It's fracturing all over the place in front. It is not just one group by any stretch. And behind, look at the riders that have been distanced and the class of riders that have been distanced.
It is as well, isn't it? But what a climb the Dragon's Nest is. Ollie Jones, Knudsen, Kaminsky, Safrazadi and Vuyasin. Panizza now at 5 seconds. It really is a killer climb, this one. You know, take a look at it. Dragons breathe fire. Well, I tell you something, these riders' legs must be on fire at the moment.
And the man who is really setting light to the course today and to their legs, Jason Osborne, he answered the move that had been made. He's gone to the front. The world champion Osborne leading his way up in Category 1. Meanwhile, in Category 2, they've been over the top of the climb. They've cooled their legs down a little bit on that descent, but they're still on top of the plateau. So they're making their way along this long plateau towards the Tokyo Sprint, which kicks in at 18.1K. The sprints have been really interesting today, and Ruben Dont just taking the sprint win in Category 2 from Olivier Simmons, but Dont distanced on the climb. There is some really strong riding. Sebastian Haber has been riding strong. So has Mr. X100, Kel Power and Co. Not strong, I don't think, it's Michael Vink and Jason Osborne. Vink put the attack in. Osborne answered. Osborne has gone up there. He was holding the polka dot. He's not going to hold it now.
It's only 7 seconds.
It's not huge gaps at the moment between these riders.
No, it's not at all. It is just 7 seconds. And now we're in with Mikel Plantero, Marshall Wu, all these riders a little bit further back down the field. Ricardo Panizza, Hayden Pucker, 10 seconds ahead. They've just gone underneath the polka dot banner. They are a little bit further back off of the leading group. In fact, Said Safrazadi is a few seconds seconds back off the leading group. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on the transition across the plateau. They'll drop down to the plateau and then transition before further climbing, and then the main descent off before they go up the Dragon's Nest climb again. But the first time up the Dragon's Nest climb, the very first time on the Sunday Race Club, Michael Vink sets the fastest time, 4 minutes 39 seconds. Kankayan sets the fastest time in category 2. Now Beatty in category 3. Nicholas von Haren in category 4. Hughes Johannes in category 5. And Osmar Vass, 7 minutes 29 seconds in category 6.
And the front of that category 1 race, you think and Osborne going through together in 1 and 2. Then Kaminsky, followed by Knudsen there together. You got Van Els, Vujasin chasing. Vujasin in 6th place over the top of that climb. Jones in 7th. Safrazedi in 8th, Pucker in 9th, Panizza in 10th, Wu that we saw very featuring strongly there in 11th place. Behind him, Noren and Kroll, Plantero, Tolbert. They're in pieces. Machado, Cutler, who was so aggressive at the start of the race, being distance. I tell you something, there are riders in pieces. It's steep, it's short, it's sharp, and my goodness, it hurts. So all of our riders over the top of the Dragon's Nest climb, done and dusted in the very first time of asking as they came through. Now, we're taking a little bit of a look across at the riders here in our varying categories. We've got categories 1 and 2 on the top of your screen, and then categories 4 and 6 on the bottom. You can see them spread out around the rows as our leading group starts to form here in category 1. So you've got Osborne, Vink, Kaminsky, Van Els, Safrazedi, and Knudsen. Now, I make that 6 riders in there. Going to just get confirmation, I think, as we take a little bit of a look here.
6 riders there in front of us.
There's 6 in front of us. So I think there's 6 there, plus Vink and Osborne, who are off the front.
And Panizza and Pucker are only 9 seconds back.
It's going to be very interesting to see. This is Group 2 on the road. 2 riders up the road. I think so. It looks to me like Osborne and Vink on the road. Van Els, Kaminsky, Vujasin, Jones, Safrazedi, and Co are the chasing group. That gap is not huge. 11 seconds between the chase group and the 2 leaders. That could come back together again, depending on how tired those legs are.
Indeed, it could do as well. And Osborne and Vink, the 2 riders at the head of the Category 1 race. Osborne in the rainbow bands, Vink in the polka dot skin suit with 16.6 kilometres now at 19.1. It's the leaders in the Category 2 race, and the pack is back together again. X100, SS and Betty at the front of the pack, and they really are motoring Category 2 today. They're on the flatlands at 19.3. They're very shortly about to hit the next climb, but a little bit further up the race field, we're in with Boo Amma. He's chasing down the group ahead of him in category 4.
I tell you something, there's some sore legs everywhere. There's riders racing all over. This is a really tough course. I mean, Boo Amma, we know he's such a strong rider, and you can see here he's chasing Fisita along with Home, a couple of others just in front. He can close his gaps down, and I think that's one of the things about this course, because it is constantly changing on the way through. You've got flat sections where you can make some ground, but then you hit the climb again, and that then really does make life difficult.
Well, it does indeed. And it's amazing, isn't it? When you look at the Category 2 leading pack, look at that. They're now stretching again because X100 is pushing on. But when you were looking at that Category 4 race, they were just skittled all over the aerial shot on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Now Vidal Mare, X100 and Havo, very, very instrumental in the action today here in Category 2. That's great to see. Ika Morel, Ruben Dont, Daniele Ratto in the mix.
Yeah, Havo, we take a little bit of a look at him actually just before you came back into the studio. And this when we set off, he was smiling, happy, waving at the camera. I'm not so
He's
sure.
Not anymore, is he?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he is, because happy riders are fast riders. We say it time and time again. If you're out and you're having a good day on the bike, you're having a good day on the bike. And that's what you need at the moment. The riders in this group need to have a good day, and they need to start making the most of that good day fast, because the gap is opening in front. Havo now at 5 seconds at the front of this race. Interesting to see Ika Morel in this group as well, in this chasing group. Another of the coaches on MyWhoosh, isn't he?
Yes, he is indeed. Saturday mornings. Well, that's European time.
Saturday morning's European time. All the details on the MyWhoosh website, mywhoosh.com. Now, going to go across to our next rider and just taking a look here at Patrick Stepanek at the moment. Nicely tucked into this group. He's got Graves, Nitko, Power, Bankston for company in good company here. Nicely positioning himself in this group. You can see our rider in person on the left of your screen, the avatar on the right hand side of your screen, certainly looking warm at the moment, but we are on this rise on the way over the top of the plateau, and this is tough stuff. 21k in, 47k course.
Yeah, no, but do you know what? It's fabulous to see new riders onto the Sunday Race Club and joining the Sunday Race Club. It is only, I'm saying, qualifier 2 in March this week. There are 4 qualification races before the final because we've got 5 Sundays in March, which means you can still join the Sunday Race Club and qualify for the March final. So if you are thinking of doing that, head over to mywhoosh.com, click on the events page, scroll down to the Sunday Race Club, and you'll find the rules, the technical guide, how to do verification. All that information is there. You have time this week to jump on board and get in to next week's qualifier number 3 and get your 2 verified rides and qualify for the final in March. Thursday is when the entries close.
So make sure, be there or have square wheels.
Or pedal squares.
Or pedal squares, take your pick. Clearly, squares are not the thing to have. Round is always good, unless that is me on the scales. So, our riders on the way through. The leading riders in Category 1, Michael Vick, Jason Osborne with a 17-second gap in the Elite Category 1 racing. Category 2, chasing hard behind. Don't forget, all of our race action coming to you at the moment courtesy of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
So if you are out joining the Sunday Race Club and you don't know what trainer to get or any other information, it's all in the technical guide and the rule set. That is where you need to look.
So really simple. Go to mywhoosh.com, go onto the menu bar at the top, go to it, click events, click Sunday Race Club. On there, scroll down, find the Sunday Race Club Exploit. You can get the rule set. So now the rule set is really important to know what you can and can't do.
Yes.
And the technical guide, because it tells you weighing procedures. It's not simple. It's not just jump on your bike and ride. There's big prizes. This is about having fair competition across all of our race categories. Verification, checking and verifying that all of our rides are real, really, really key. So jump on board, have a read, have a look at the guide. If you are thinking about buying kit, get something, future-proof yourself. Make sure you get something that you can come and race. You might not be thinking of racing on the Sunday Race Club. It might be one of the many other events that are on week in, week out, day in, day out. There's loads and loads of racing on MyWhoosh, but get something you can do the Sunday Race Club on, because you might just get hooked with the racing bug and get stuck and go, I want to race.
You get hooked and then you just can't stop. Well, talking about being hooked and can't stop, Osborne and Vink, you just can't stop them either. They're at the 20.8 kilometre marker, and I'll tell you something, I think they're extending their lead now. It's out to 24 seconds.
It's just kidding. I hate to say it. I think it's just going to keep on going. Yeah, so Michael Vick, you've not seen this, have you?
I haven't. Look how neat his tools are.
Oh, that's something I never thought I'd heard you say. That is one of the neatest, most OCD garages ever.
Oh, no.
I think I have seen on a Sunday Race Club. It is very, very, I don't think there is a pen or a cable out of place anywhere.
That's amazing. And I'll tell you something, is he riding the same bike in real life that he is on the Sunday Race Club
platform? Yes, he is on a nice Colnago V4 RS there with MV wheels.
I know.
The same as ridden by Tadej Pogacar yesterday.
And ridden by Michael Vink today.
Well, indeed, and at the moment, Michael Vink's in exactly the right place.
I've just got bike envy. I've only got a V3.
Excuse me, I don't have one at all. So if you don't know, if you've not followed Emma on social media, which is at biking_Emma, Emma has been saving up her pennies.
I have.
She's not been spending them on the things she normally likes to.
And I found a deal.
She found herself a fantastic deal on a Colnago V3.
I did. And my nails match it now.
Fortunately, you can't see Emma on camera, even though the production team can. But yes, indeed, Emma's nails do match her bike. But more importantly, having taken, we went out for a squad ride. Tim came with us, and we've been out and put a ride in. Emmett's absolutely rocketing on this Colnago.
Oh, it's good.
She came back to the office and said, "I've just gone 5 minutes faster in my 55-minute ride on my Colnago. It's amazing."
I only took it for an hour's spin to check it all out, and it went so much quicker than normal. Obviously, I was just like, under enthusiastic energy. But I can tell you something, X100, Don and Mare are under enthusiastic energy as well today, because they are pushing on, and look at the pain on Don's face. And I have to say, that is one rider who digs in and digs in hard.
It is indeed. His sprinting has been fantastic. He's been absolutely flying. How can he continue onwards? I think he has got 2 sprints. Indeed, he has. He's got the 2 sprints. So he's taken the Kyoto sprint and the Tokyo sprint. Now, we are going back round the Tokyo sprint, but to get there, he's got to get through the Dragon's Nest climb. And of course, he's right in the mix here for the overall race as well.
Yes, and that then becomes a real strategic decision and a real thinking point, doesn't it? Which sometimes is hard to do on the hoof when you're actually in fatigue and oxygen debt. Do you go for the sprint? Do you try and type sprint competition, or do you think, well, actually, I'm so well positioned here, and actually, I'm feeling all right today. Maybe I could stay in this and try and get a top 3 or even a win. And that's got to be a difficult competition and a difficult decision to make on the fly. Well, one rider making the decisions on the fly, Matthias Vanhee, off the back of the group ahead and riding through Marvin Angarita, the rider behind him. He's a minute back. Ivan Nuki a little bit further up with James Krasnich and Tiago Clement, the riders all together. So you can see the riders being smashed apart and the routes just decimating the riders today.
Certainly lots of damage being done out there on the roads here. Ivan Nuki right up in the mix, but not at the front of the race where he'd want to be. You can see the effort here as he makes his way around. A little bit of respite coming if he can stay with this group on this descent. Can he tuck in there? Come on, Ivan. Time to dig deep. Remember all those things. Remember all those things you told those kids on your training sessions, on those coaching sessions. It's now time to put them into practice and get racing and make sure that you use that to your advantage. A real inspiration, and we do say that time and time again for a reason, because
and a really nice gentleman as well.
He is indeed. He is indeed. There's lots of nice people on Sunday Race Club.
I know.
Come on, join and jump on board. You could be out and racing. Now, 2 riders who have ridden together, Ivan Nuki and Mr. X100 on your screens at the moment. Ivan Nuki chasing left of your screen, right-hand side of your screen, Mr. X100 having a push, starting to open up a gap here. Well, this is a bit of a move again. 6 seconds. It looks closer, but that is because this is a 6% climb as you make your way around the side of the motor racing circuit here. Nitko moving up, trying to close the gap. Well, look at David Nitko out of the saddle, comes up alongside Mr. X100. 2 riders clear at the moment. Can they work together? Nitko with Mr. X100 coming up this stepped climb at the moment. This is a big kick. They've got a drop and a rise to follow as well. This is brutal stuff here today. Nitko really coming into form. Could he be our man today? X100, Espina and Dan chasing hard behind at the moment. This is tough stuff here today out on the race route.
Well, it is indeed, and really fast and furious riding. The gaps and the groups really constantly changing at the moment, and the pace being pushed on in the Category 2 race. So X100 and Nitko, the 2 riders now out front, it's just continually changing. Morel now coming to the front of the group behind with Don and SS. 5 seconds. Betty's in that group as well. It's come back together and gone out again. Come back together and gone out. On the left-hand side of your screen, Vink and Osborne.
That'd be him, world champion.
yeah, the rainbow stripes, locked together at the 25-kilometre marker. Now, it's a 47-kilometre race. They are just over half race distance. Well, Buama, the rider we're in with at the moment on the screen, you can see him there, the Category 4 rider. In the Category 3 group at the moment, the Category 3 group starting to make the catch through that Category 4 pack.
And Boo with the time. Say hello. Yeah, you need to eat, mate. Fueling is important. Don't I know it? I spent the last 4 days riding underfueled by mistake. Oh, what an error that was. Keep eating. Matt's golden rules for riding. Ride lots, eat lots, sleep lots. They're my 3 golden rules. Ride lots, eat lots, sleep lots. Do that, you always go quicker afterwards. You do plenty of that. Boom, doing a great ride here. Great skills. Jumped in with the group. Used the group for the draft to move up through the group. Regular rider, great tactician, great tactics there as he makes his way in through. So Category 6 on the right of your screen, currently at 37.1k, and that means they are heading in on our climb here. This is going to be tough stuff today. They're already making their way up the climb, which is the Dragon's Nest climb number 2. Category 6, the first of the riders away. The last of our riders out from those start pens. Category 1. Leaders in Category 1, they're on your screen. Michael Vink, along with Jason Osborne, 2 absolute class riders. 2 riders who we know have got the strength and ability to ride clear. It's going to be interesting to see, can they keep stretching this gap? How much energy do they put into this? And at what point do they start attacking each other?
Well, it is really interesting, and I think there's still a good-sized group of Category 1 riders behind if the information on that graphic is anything to go by. Well, I'll tell you something. The attacks here in Category 2 just keep coming. This is such an active group and such a difficult race field. Dont, Ratto, Betty, Mare, Power, Nair, all in this group, all chasing. They're all chasing X100 and Nitko and Havo. Havo has joined Nitko and X100 down the road. In fact, X100 has now put an attack into David Nitko and tried to ride clear of him. Absolute aggression in this race today.
It's brutal. I mean, I don't think there's a better word to describe just how hard, how constant, how aggressive, how tough it is out there. It is brutal racing out on the road. Absolutely frantic. You cannot miss a move. There are riders attacking all over the place. This is what we love about Sunday Race Club. From Category 1 to Category 6, absolute action. Top of the climb, rider number 1 on the road, Michał Pustula. At the moment, the Polish rider leads over the top. He's going to take away maximum points from Dragon's Nest climb number 2. He was absolutely flying on there on the first time. He's gone even quick second time. I tell you something, Pustula has opened the gap, but we've still got distance. And Kittle and Vaz, 18 seconds here, Emma.
Yeah.
Vaz and Kittle could come back to him, yeah? And they've got Arrego, Monsalvan back behind.
That's it. It's not that far, is it? And then you can see that Vaz, Kittle, Arrego, Monsalve, back and Milano. Do you know what? There's only 10 seconds separating this chasing group. Well, I say chasing group. There's 10 seconds from 2nd to 7th at the moment.
And congratulations to Osmar Vaz. He has taken second time up the climb. I was just taking a look. He took the fastest time up that climb. And because of the positions on the first time up the climb, it means that he has the most points overall in the King of the Mountains. And Osmar Vaz will be taking away not just a segment prize for the second time up the climb, but also taking away for the first time at the climb and second time at the climb, but also taking away the win overall in the climbers competition. Brilliant riding by him. Can he close down and take away the win? 26 seconds that gap's opened up to.
Well, I tell you, 7 riders through and across the Dragon's Nest climb on lap 2 in Category 6. 7 riders in contention, 3 riders already through, and Brian White joining them to make 4 in Category 5. So Category 5 now into the top 10 overall on the road.
So Hughes, Joannas, Jussi Puolaka, along with Mika Rusmaki, Brian White, they're your top four at the moment in Category 5. Vaz, Kittle, Arrego, Monsalve, Back, Milano, Pistula, all going over the top of the climb in Category 6. I'll tell you something, it is going to be absolutely frantic on the run to the line. Quick reminder for you, the course from the top of the Dragon's Nest climb, it's basically all downhill, all flat, all downhill. It is a very quick run in to the finish from the top of the climb at 37.6k to 47 kilometers, which is the end of our race route here today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club and qualifier race number 2.
Well, that 9.4 kilometre run from the top of the Dragon's Nest climb for the second time to the finish line. Well, it is going to be a run to the line the riders will enjoy. And I say that, it may be fast and it may be furious, but it is, as Matt says, downhill or flat. Michael Vink pushing on here, and he's pushing on because Jason Osborne has attacked. Osborne has gone on the offence. Vink goes on the defence. So Osborne 7 seconds up the road. He's just disappearing off out of sight around the corner. James Krasnich, the Category 2 rider in the middle here. Vink just taking a little bit of a toe off of Krasnich's wheel. He's going to come round and past him now. And then it is going to be Osborne in his sights at 6 seconds. Ollie Jones, Stefan van Elst, the riders in the chase group, you know, they're only 15 seconds back.
It has not opened to a definitive gap yet. And that is telling. Vink is having to work here, and he's having to work hard because he cannot afford to let Osborne go. And the riders behind are breathing down his neck. Osborne, though, why go now? I'm a little bamboozled by that.
You're bamboozled by an attack at the 30
Did
kilometre
you see what
marker.
I did? We're in Japan, bamboozled.
Bamboo, isn't that China, not Japan?
No, there's bamboo at the side of the course on this course.
Yeah, but China is more known for pandas and bamboo.
There's bamboo in England.
There's bamboo everywhere, but you know, if we're talking like, you know,
it's on the side of the course.
Well, so is some cherry blossom.
Mentioned that already as well.
Oh well done.
My arboreal skills are to the fore today. Did you not?
I didn't realise you were a gardener.
I'm not. I just know what trees look like sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you something. I know what a pack looks like, and that's a pack of riders. It's a pack of class riders. Lanovu Yasin is in the mix. So is Knudsen, Zafrazadi, Kaminsky. Jones is there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 riders hunting 2.
So 6 chasing 2 at the moment. This is going to be interesting. Who can pull this back? Well, it's 6 chasing 1 and 1. Which is even better for the 6 because they've got more of a chance unless those two work together. But look at this, they're breaking again. It's fracturing all over the course here. Each of these rises and falls. Once the gap goes, you've got to close it down. This is extra energy that's being expended just to pull back into the draft. And that is really critical here. Stay in the draft, save that energy, put that effort in, but getting the timing right. It's so much timing, so much practice. Of course, all the other riders wanted to do the same thing, but you've got such a mix now. Let's drop across from Category 1 back across to Category 2. At the moment, Mr. X100 out of the saddle, stamping his way down this descent. This is a Mr. X100 classic X100 move.
Yeah, right away from the group.
Right away from the group. Before the climb. Make the climb stretch out so that when they're doing 15 watts per kilo, you can hold your 7, 8 watts per kilo on the way through. Now, we're looking to see what the time gap is behind. I cannot see anybody on the radar screen, and I am waiting for the time gaps because it's saying about 28, 29 seconds. Looking at the distance on the road.
500 metres.
So that is going to, that's doable. It could be out at that sort of minute marker, I think. I'm just going to take 26 seconds, I think I saw there. That can't be right.
Well,
it's got to be more than that.
Well, no, it could be because I'll tell you something. The group behind have sat up, basically. I've just seen 1.1 watts per kilo from Phil Graves.
Phil, stop taking a break, mate. It's not a coffee stop. So, the gaps have opened. 400 metres separates our leader, Mr. X100, from the chasing riders behind. David Nitko, who's with him for so long, absorbed into this chasing group that contains the sprint leader.
They know the climb is coming.
Category 2. They do know the climb is coming. They know what they need to do. They've had a dress rehearsal. The time for dress rehearsals is done. This is a time to show us what you've got. It's showtime here in Category 2 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Time for the curtains to pull aside, for our centre stage actors to take to the boards and take their place. Will they get the line right? Will they get it wrong? No time for fluffing anything. You've got to get this dialed. 35 kilometres for the leader at the moment. 35.4k for Mr. X100 leading out to the Category 2 race. The polka dot bunnies around that right-hand turn. He's the leader in Category 2 on the right of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the Category 2 rider chasing Jason Osborne is Jace Krasnich. But at the moment, two solo leaders as the polka dot banner comes through. The cherry blossom drops down at the side of the course as Mr. X100 rockets his way through. Jason Osborne chasing here. I tell you something, Osborne is a man on a mission. He's not that far behind.
No, Vink is only 5 seconds back at the moment. He's matching Jason Osborne. In fact, at the moment, it's putting in more power than Osborne. They're at 33.6 kilometres at the moment on the descent as Osborne goes around that right-hand corner ahead. Vink now about to drop into the same section, matching each other well on this descent. They're coming into the flatland and then they will hit the Dragon's Nest climb. It's about who has got the legs for that climb for the second time today that is going to sort out whether it's Osborne or Vink.
I'm not going to make a prediction. I don't dare. Because that climb at Dragon's Nest is so steep, anything could happen. And if you get it wrong on there, you're going to pay for it all the way to the finishing line. 10k for unto the finish. You could pay every meter of those 9,700 meters or so.
Yes, and you could indeed pay for that. But James Krasnich has given Michael Vink a nice bit of a tow there. Just sat in his draft as he tries to transition onto the back of Jason Osborne's wheel. Krasnich comes back up and says, "I'm trying to help you, mate. I'm trying to help you. I can't stay there for very long, but I'll try and help."
Well, a brilliant job being done by him, interestingly, seeing those...
Nothing in the rules that says he can't do that.
No, and countrymen, looking after your countrymen, nothing wrong with that at all. And really interesting to see as he goes through. Maybe one day Michael Vink will give him a toe up a climb somewhere else. You never ever know. It's one of the great things about the race. It's a great way to get fast. I mean, quite seriously, it is like going out. I remember my days when I was racing, going out behind the motorbike, doing motor pacing, practicing riding at speed. Well, you don't need a motorbike. You don't need somebody with a motorbike license and a flat bit of road and no cars about to be able to do it here. You just get behind Michael Vink on Sunday Race Club and it's like sitting behind a motorbike going at full speed. It's absolutely brilliant to see. And it happens on all of our race categories. There are fast riders at different sections. So the Category 6 race leader, Mikel Pastula, at the moment, currently at 44.3k. His gap is holding at 29 seconds to the chasing group, but that chasing group contains Category 5 and Category 6 leaders chasing our race leader. Now, Mr. X100 up on the front of the Category 2 race. The gap, 10 seconds to Ika Morel, Kel Power, Simon Walter and co. You can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. Mr. X100, the rider's disc with that black triangle in the center of it, in the center of the radar screen. The big chasing pack, well, it's like that big pile of tiddlywinks behind, only they're all green and they're all coming for him at speed. So Mr. X100 out of the saddle. Rato Power chasing hard in front of them. They've got plenty of riders to close out, to chase at. Let's have a little look. Let's see how close they get. We're going to take a little bit of a check as they come up on to this section of a climb. So SS, look at this. That's the UAE clan team. 2 riders up at the front of this race. Mistakes 100 and SS. SS is in the pack here. He won't want to pull them right the way back up. He's marking out Nico. He's marking out Morel. He's marking out Walter and Havo. Great camera shot as we come around the side of these riders at the moment. Their avatars are representing each of one of these riders as they come around the turn. The dust comes up. The riders continue to climb. This is the Dragon's Nest climb. And at the moment, you can see it is blowing this race apart.
Yeah, and that tactic of X100 to give himself breathing room, really, really interesting because the pack have caught him on the climb. Talking about catching, Vink has caught Osborne. It was a 5-second gap not very long ago, and Michael Vink was on the other end of it. They've too have come into the Dragon's Nest climb. In fact, they are only 400 meters behind the leaders in the Category 2 race now, as Vink has caught Osborne. Osborne comes back up onto Michael Vink's shoulder. The battle is back on for Category 1.
So Category 1, the fight unfolds. They were the last leaders to lead the pens, the first leaders to lead the pens. Well, it's a lone leader, Mikhail Pastula. He comes in through the world here on MyWhoosh, through that stylized Japanese world. He's at 46.4. He's now got to get to 47k. He's sprinting his way in. The gap has opened up behind him. This is a great ride by Mikhail Pastula. He went clear. He's climbed hard. He broke away as they made those repeated climbs and those repeated moves through the Dragon's Nest climb. The left-hand turn comes up. He'll go past the pens, and he will see the banner in front of him. It's a pretty straight run here. You can see it in the distance. The chasing group, they've got to come in to that left-hand turn. This is going to be a run which he can enjoy. He's already got the victory signs out here. He's going to take victory. It's qualifier race number 2. It's going to be a win today in Category 6. The first rider over the line underneath the UCI banner in Japan on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Mikhail Pastula, your race winner.
Well, that's one very happy rider as his clothing turns yellow. The yellow skin suit going onto his back as the race unfolds, because it's Kiddle, Monsolve, Arago back, and Category 5 are in the mix as well. This is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th in Category 6, plus 1st and 2nd in Category 5. Johannes, Rusimaki, Pulaka are all in here in Category 5. The Category 5 race is the one I'm watching, and it is indeed Rusmaka, I think, who is going to take the win in Category 5. Oh, is it?
It's so close as they came in through. Good call by him. And there it is, Rusmaki from Janis from Montsalve. I think it, well, I'm just taking a double check. Or is it? It's not. Pulaka's just taken that. He takes the win. That was a very, very close finish.
0.06 of a second.
Ouch. 0.06 of a second separating Rusmaki from Pulaka. So Jussi Pulaka taking away the win in Category 5, taking away the win in Category 6. Mikhail Pastula, as we see our next group of riders making their way in. We're just in with Nicholas Van Haren here. He's your Category 4 polka dot skin suit wearer. He's going to be your Category 4 race winner. Nicholas Van Haren on qualifier race number 2 makes his way underneath the UCI banner here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. That polka dot skin suit gets the yellow skin suit added. He takes away the win. Behind him, you can see the sprint unfolded in Category 4. There's a big group of riders coming in, and it looks like Zach Patterson's taken 2nd, Carlos Alberto taking 3rd, Giuliano 4th, Kaplinski 5th, and longtime breakaway rider Mason Rocker taking 6th place.
Wow, it just kept coming, didn't it? Thick and fast in all of those categories. And that sprint, I tell you, in Category 5 and in Category 6 for the lower places, just phenomenal to see those riders coming in thick and fast across the line.
Now, Category 1 leaders on the left-hand side of your screen are just on the descent down. Category 2, the race lead at the moment is 11 seconds for Mistakes 100 on the right-hand side of your screen. He's at 39.8k. But Even I can do the maths. That's more than 7K to the race finish. That's still plenty of distance for things to change, and there is a big group chasing Mr. X100. He has to keep on pushing now. He's got to put time trial brain on. He's got to sit there, get dialed in, and ride as we know he can. Hold the pace right on the limit, within one heartbeat of blowing up, but not over that marker.
Well, that is key. And also, you've got to rely on the fact that the group behind are not going to work together. Nico, Morel, SS, Walter, Bengston. Do you know, they have all had top threes, between them. Every single one of them. It is an absolute class field, but they are sweeping up riders from other categories on this flat running to the finish line. They've got a little bit of a way to go. They're at the 40.3 kilometre marker. It's less than 100 metres to X100. And X100, well, he's rolling at 41, 42 kilometres an hour. They're rolling at 40 to 41 kilometres an hour. They need to pick the pace up. SS isn't going to do it. He's not going to contribute because he's part and parcel of the UAE clan team. Che Holweiler, however, will do it. He's now picked the pace up. He's at 43, 44. He needs to keep this going. He needs to pull this back. Nikolai Damsgaard, Tord Allingyung are ahead of him. They need to keep this motoring, but this is not the chase group. These are the riders who have been dropped off the back of that group.
They've been distanced, they've been dropped. They need to try and get back up to maximise their places. Remember, all these riders racing top 10 positions, and a lot of the riders who've been dropped are still in the hunt for a top 10 position. Top 10 places in each of our race categories with prizes, as well as that, the climb segments, the sprint segments, and the climbs and the sprints overall, all up for grabs. All those were prizes week in, week out. It's not a once a year competition. This is the Sunday Race Club each and every Sunday, 52 weeks of the year. That Sunday Race Club payout keeps on rolling. Fantastic competition, top level racing here, right the way through to people starting their race careers on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Really, really important. Jump on board. Come and join us on the Sunday Race Club. Jump on board MyWhoosh. You could be racing up against the likes of Mr. X100, SSJ Harweiler, and the man on your screens, Michael Vink, who has not only caught, but passed and dropped the world champion, Jason Osborne. Now, I don't really care if they're on the same Boss Moose team. There is one boss today. It's Michael Vink.
Well, Vink is the boss today, and you can see the controlled effort in the garage at the moment. The work being done there, absolutely brilliant. And, at the 41.2 kilometre marker, it's flat, flat, flat with a descent to the finish. And I have to say, one of the things I also love about Michael Vink is, there's a bit of banter as well. It's not just his legs doing the talking.
No, he's quite able to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. It has to be said, but he talks pretty well. Now, I am going to say one thing. Now, Simon Walter, you'll notice in his pain cave here, really putting in the effort, he has no windows out that you can see, which is fine. Michael Vink has got windows on a brick wall. It's on a concrete block wall. Why have a window to a concrete block wall?
At least you get some daylight.
There's no daylight. There's a wall next to it.
Yeah, but there's sort of
It's
haze.
like putting a window onto the acoustic foam
no,
here.
No. Do you know you ever play that hotel game where you open the curtains and see what you've got?
Yeah, usually it's the bins where I get stuck on jobs, I tell you. I think I could do tours of the back of the worst rooms at hotel rooms going. We to come back to that because just coming in through the Tokyo Sprint once again, we've just got Mr. X100 going through.
Don X100.
Yeah, Ruben Don.
Here come the pack.
Yeah, by the power of the sprint, by the power of the sprints, I shall be back at the front of the race. And that is exactly what's happened.
No, that's the women's race.
I don't know.
The
spoilers.
Thundercats.
Oh, okay, it is Thunder. Yeah,
the power of
Greystoke.
I thought it was Grey Skull, but Greystoke is something else.
So, never mind dodgy 1980s cartoons. We are going to go back to the Sunday Race Club. In Category 2, the sprint power of the group has closed down our lone leader, Mr. X100. The group are back together again. That is not the case in Category 1, as Jason Osborne, at 5.5 watts per kilo and 60 revs per minute, looks to me like he's currently handing that over to Michael Vink in the overall. But Michael Vink's time, I'm going to make a prediction here, he will not win that sprint at the end of the day. Tokyo Sprint number 2, Vink is cruising through with a time trial effort if you put a sprint effort in, you can go quicker. Look at this. Everybody, take a picture of your screen now. If you're watching this and you are Ruben Dont, Walter Clays, Nicholas Spratt, Dylan Kennett, or Maris Fassade, all but one of you, this is your first time probably beating Michael Vink. Dylan Kennett, though, it's not his first time beating Michael Vink by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's not. The ding-dong between Michael Vink and Dylan Kennett getting in touch with me continues. So Dylan Kennett spilled the beans on Michael Vink. Michael Vink spilled the beans on Dylan Kennett. Dylan Kennett this week spills the beans on Michael Vink again.
And are you going to tell us all about it or not?
Well, I don't know. But I think the stories that I now have could last a few weeks. But last time, in the epic debate that has been bantering between Vink and Kennett, Vink was giggling on a video of me talking about Kennett's climbing prowess. So Dylan Kennett has sent me a message this week with photographic evidence of him beating Michael Vink in a hill climbing section of a race back in 2014.
And Kennett's just beating him in the sprint as well. Come on, Michael Vink,
There
please
you
socks
go.
up, mate. Okay, so let's go across from the Kennett versus Vink competition because there is some discrepancy in terms of race categories, and drop in with Just Sale. Betty, one of our regular riders on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, well hydrated. I think he's used 3 out of the 4 bottles on the side there.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him at all. Currently at 43.8 at the moment, and keeping that rhythm tapped out as he chases down the riders in front. Meanwhile, at the front of category 2, you can see Simon Walter on the attack here. He knows that time is running out there at 44.5k. We are running in towards our last 2k, 2.5k to go at the moment. At the moment, we've got a leading group who have come back together again. This could be anybody's. It's going to be about, can they sprint? Can they attack? And remember that the run in, there is a little bit of a drop down to come, but it's not huge. And I think it shouldn't play too much effect. Timing will be key.
What is there? 12, 13 riders still in that group. I tell you, the front end of category 2 is electric. Absolutely electric, as we've got an attack going off the front already at the 45-kilometre marker. It's 2 kilometres to go, and the attacks are just coming thick and fast here, as a shock needs to wake up the group as X100 goes again.
I tell you something, there's no keeping this man down. He sprinted clear. He's had to ease off now as he's gone clear. He's not provoked a breakaway behind that didn't chase this down. And interestingly, Vidal Mer is just holding pace there. The problem is, you do this time and time again, your legs will go pop. And when they do, you can get swept aside. One of these days it's going to work out. Will it be today? Simon Walter holding pace. They're giving away a little bit of ground here. It's 5 seconds now, that gap. How much do you let this gap go? How far dare you let it go? We are coming down to 1k to go very shortly indeed.
Well, the issue here is at what time do you time your sprint and when do you do it? We're on the descent now, and actually the pace needs to pick up in the group behind. They need to utilise the momentum. That's what X100 has done. You've got to know the tactic of the race and the route as well, because you need to utilise the descents to pick up the momentum, to carry them into the flat. It's a flat run off of that descent. The group need to now start to think about the timing of the sprint and trying to go over the top of X100. It's a real balance here about going long and blowing.
So getting timing right in category 2 is going to be key. Category 1, we've still got Vink trying to keep clear of Osborne behind. They're on the way into towards the finish. We've got less than 700 meters to go for the race leader, Mr. X100. And David Nitko, the man who's battling with him, has opened up the sprint early here at 8.7 watts per kilo. Nitko has been aggressive all race long. He doesn't want to leave this to chance. He's gone off the front. But right behind him, the polka dot skin suit of SS. He's on his wheels. Can SS hold the wheels, though? 8.5 watts per kilo. Nitko's holding this pace. The effort is written all over his face. Up comes Vidal Mer. Mer's going over the top here. So Mer's gone over the top. They're catching back Mr. X100. They're closing him down. This is the run for the line. The banner is coming. Who is going to take this away? Nitko kicks again. Mer's gone off the front. Mer, this is surely his. Who will take the position behind as Vidal Mer takes away the win? running into the line behind him. The big pack comes through. It's Ika Morel in second, SS in third, Kane in fourth, Zach Nair in fifth, Sebastian Habo in sixth, Daniel Ratto in seventh, Nico takes away eighth, Kel Power in ninth, Walter in 10th, Bengston in 11th, Daunt in 13th there, I think, and Mistakes 114th. Ooh.
What a finish. Well, I tell you something, the race is on here and Jason Osborne is absolutely pushing on, but we have indeed seen Michael Vink come across the line. This is for second place today in the Category 1 race. So Vink is already under the line. This is Jason Osborne coming in for second place today. The gap now over a minute back to the chasers in Category 1.
So Michael Vink, the Vinkinator does what the Vinkinator does best, goes clear at the front, opens the gap, and Osborne comes through the line behind him. 27 seconds by my reckoning. Yeah. The gap between first and second place in Category 1. Still battles unfolding. The great thing about Sunday Race Club is whatever ability level, whatever form you have, there's always people around you to race. There's people to battle against, whatever speed you're going to go out around this race route and whatever performance you're going to put out.
Well, whatever performance you're going to put out, the third, fourth, fifth and sixth in the Category 1 race not yet decided. And my prediction, Matt, is that Jason Osborne will be doing an Arnie. He'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yes,
that was my best Arnie impression.
Well, at the moment, Michael Vink tops the overall standings. He's not going to get beaten. We're not on the sprint. We're on the overall race standings. 64 minutes, 50 seconds, 27 seconds clear of Jason Osborne in Category 1. The rest of the Category 1 race not in yet. Vidal Mayer taking the win in Category 2 from Ika Morel, SS Concain, Zach Nair, Sebastian Havo, Daniele Ratto and David Nico.
Quick roundup for Category 3 for you. Marcin Wozniak taking the win there ahead of Sanchez. Lassie Parnell coming in third place. Kalman in fourth. And all these results on the MyWhoosh.com web pages.
I can tell you in Category 1, there was indeed a sprint for third, fourth, fifth and sixth. The sprint was won by Ollie Jones. Side Safra Zaidi takes fourth. Stefan Van Elst takes fifth. And Mikhail Kaminski takes sixth. Lionel Yasin then comes through for seventh.
So don't forget, you can join us each and every week for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club here on the English language feed. It's myself, Matt Payne, at Matt Fix the Pain. And you can follow Emma Martin here with me. It's at biking_Emma. Don't forget, of course, you can follow our hosts on the Arabic channel and watch in Arabic as well. Robert Helene and Abdullah Suwadan. Also on Twitter, you can see their Twitter handles on your screen through the course of the show as well. Please do give us all a follow. We really do appreciate it. It really helps us massively. Make sure you follow at MyWhoosh on Facebook and on Instagram. And don't forget, of course, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure if you haven't watched the women's race, you go back and watch the end of the women's race. That's my job. Once I've had some ice cream and coffee, I'm going to be having those with the end of that women's race. But a big thank you to you for watching. A big thank you to our riders for racing. A massive thank you to the team behind the scenes, juggling 2 simultaneous races with 6 race categories in each. But from me, Matt Payne, from Emma Martin, don't forget, next week, it's qualifier race number 3.
You can be there.
Until then, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.